Hi. If you've seen my last video, you might have realized that I talked about a click label, but then I showed to you the click image. That was because I fixed that afterwards because I made a mistake. But then that was a second mistake because I talked about the click label. So here's for completeness the click label. And it works exactly the same as the click image. So you have a tapped function, you have a double tapped function, both take a point event. This point event contains the mouse coordinates, that's why I need it. And then you have to implement tapped and tapped secondary. That was my first mistake, that I thought it's called double tapped, but the interface actually requires tapped secondary. So that is how that works. And then you have the normal click and a right click event or double tap on mobile devices. And you can add these functions to deal with them. But there's something to mention about the click image that you might have seen. So there's not just a canvas image in that click image, but there's also a Fyne container here. And that is a bit peculiar, I guess. And the reason is that if you try to set a canvas image directly, so the image in the image, so to say, if you try to set that directly, then Fyne will not update it. And it will not refresh. Even if you use refresh on the image, it's not going to work. Even if you use refresh on the widgets that embed the image, it's usually not going to work. So you cannot set the image of a canvas image directly because there are several reasons, actually. First of all, if you look at canvas image, you will see that it might also have a resource or a file path instead of an image, and then dynamically create the image. And secondly, the images it uses are kind of cached internally. I don't know how, I haven't looked at the source code, but this caching prevents the possibility that you just set the image directly. Even if you know it's not a resource, even if you know there is no file path involved, there's no dynamic creation of the image, it still won't work. Cannot set the embedded image directly. So one way to fix this is to put the image into this box. In this case, just create a new stack, which is what used to be called a max container. And then I have a method SetImage here that allows me to change the image. First, it removes all the objects. In this case, it's just the previous image, and then it adds the image. And that method correctly updates the image. So you can, for instance, dynamically load an image and update it. I can show you that. I have, where was it? I think it was here. Some transparent image here. Actually, this is just a rectangle that is 1 pixel in size. But you can stretch that and it's going to be a transparent image of arbitrary size that doesn't take much space in memory. And then you can use this as a placeholder and later set the real image. So basically, you can first give this the transparent image, that is a placeholder, and then set the real image when the real image has been loaded. So that's very useful if you load images dynamically in Fyne, which usually doesn't work. And in case you have stumbled into this oddity of Fyne, now you know how to solve it. Hope that was helpful to you and see you another time. Bye.